E-R-I-C, A, D as in David, E-S-O-N.
Catherine Neal, Katherine, Neal, and the firm name is
Pretty simple.
there.
We'll start with a very basic. Why'd you call us here today?
Right, so we have filed a lawsuit already. We filed a lawsuit about 15 minutes ago in regards to this horrific incident that happened to my client, Eric Addison. We filed a lawsuit within the past 15 minutes regarding this horrific incident that happened to my client yesterday morning.
Kind of take us through the steps of what happened.
Yeah. Do you want to tell him?
Okay. I have been dating Miss Vaughn off and on now for about 7 months, and we've had some rocky times, but we had been broken up until this week when she called me and because her mom is ill, and we needed some help. And so I've been trying to help her get through that, and she's been medicating with lots of alcohol and other substances. And I was trying to get her to get some help. I was trying to get her to get sober because I thought she'd be better able to deal with the situation if that was the case. And what happened was Saturday that didn't work out because by the time I got home she was already gone, basically inebriated. And so we agreed to talk on Sunday morning. Sunday morning, I went down to her. She texted me when she was up. I went down to her place at about 10 a.m. She lives in the same building that I do on Clearwater Beach. I went down to her place about 10 a.m. and she was completely inebriated and was drinking and smoking marijuana at the same time. I've tried to get her to leave the apartment and go for a walk on the beach to clear her head so that we could have a more meaningful conversation about, how she was going to deal with this. And it became apparent that she just didn't want to hear anything I said. So I left her apartment, I live 2 floors above. I went upstairs to my unit, which is on the 7th floor, and I was going to go biking. She followed me up to my unit, banging on the door, saying she loved me to please let her in. Against my better judgment, I did let her in, and she continued to stagger around and bump into things and get angry. I was trying to get her to go for a walk on the beach. I kept telling her, let's just go outside, let's get some sunshine. And finally I said, okay, I'm gonna go put my bike shorts on. I went to go put my bike shorts on and I saw her go out to the balcony. My balcony is on the 7th floor, and she threw my phone off of the balcony first. I didn't see her throw the phone, but I saw her throw something. I went back, I went into where my phone was and it was gone. So I assumed that's what she did, and it turned out she did. It was on the ground 7 floors below. She was then, I said, are you crazy? How could you do that? She attacked me and scratched me, hit me, and not bad enough. I was kind of able to fend her off, but she grabbed my keys, and I had my hand on the keys too. I was able to pull my car key off, and she took my condominium keys and threw those off the balcony. Went out and threw those off the balcony, and I said, I'm going to go downstairs because I didn't have my phone anymore. I'm going to go downstairs to the desk to call the police. And she was on the balcony, and she picked up I had a 3-year-old bug named Bucky. And he was so sweet, and she picked him up, and she just smiled and dropped him off the balcony. Wow. 7 floors. I started screaming. And people were gathering down below around Bucky. And I pushed her out of my unit, and I locked the door, and I couldn't even leave the unit because I didn't have. I have a second dog. I have a puggle named Sandy, and I was afraid because I didn't have key. I didn't have my phone. I couldn't call the police. I couldn't call anybody, and I didn't have my keys, so I couldn't lock the door with my key. So I was afraid she would get back in and hurt Sandy, so I couldn't even leave. So I'm screaming, and finally I remembered that I had another key, and I locked the door and went down. And Bucky was laying there in a pool of blood. And somebody called the police, and the police came, and they've been trying to apprehend her ever since. She's locked in her condo unit in the building, and she won't come out. And they have not, at least as far as I know, they have not been able to arrest her as of yet.
Wow. So what was the name of the dog?
Bucky.
Bucky was what?
Bucky was a 3-year-old pug. He was a black pug. I have pictures of him. He was so sweet. Bucky slept every night curled up against me. He couldn't even sleep if he wasn't touching me. And I have Sandy, who's 13. She's my puggle. And she got cancer 3 years ago, and when she was getting treatments, she had surgery, and then she had radiation treatments at Blue Pearl, and which was amazing, by the way. Blue Pearl is amazing, but they saved Sandy's life, and I got Bucky to keep Sandy company, thinking that would give her a playmate and some more incentive to fight through the cancer. And I never thought that Sandy would outlive Bucky. It's just awful.
It's a horrible experience.
I had to watch her do it.
When the woman, and I don't know if you want to name her because she has not been charged, this is just at this point, when she threw your dog over, did she show any remorse?
No, none. She's smiling. She's evil.
So she just picked the dog up, did she say anything?
Nope. She just smiled and threw him.
What about afterwards?
Nothing.
Nothing. Was she really inebriated at this point?
Yes.
Do you think she knew what she was doing?
I don't know. I'm not her.
After she threw your dog over, what did she proceed to do after that?
I grabbed her and forcibly pushed her outside of my unit, my condominium unit. So that was it. That's all I remember. I'm devastated. It's like a blur. I can't even believe this has happened.
But since then, you were able to contact the police?
Oh, the police came immediately. There were at least 8 to 10 police officers there, and most of them dog owners. One of them had a pug, and has a pug.
And did they get in contact with her or not?
They have been banging on her door for over a day now, and she won't come out.
I find it hard to believe the officer would just let her go.
Well, they're not going to. They assured me that they're going. She's being charged. Can I say that? She's being. The officer, according to the officer, she's being charged with a 3rd-degree felony and 2 misdemeanors.
Yeah.
But according to them, there is only certain criminal acts that they have a right to bang the door down, and I guess this doesn't meet those standards. I guess maybe because it's a 3rd degree, maybe a 2nd degree does. I don't know what the rules are, but they promised me they're going to get her. They promised me if they have to go to where she works, the hospital she works at, that they will get her.
Why did you hire an attorney? What's your expectation from that?
Well, go ahead.
We filed a lawsuit instantly, which is a very rare thing, because we have to send a message to our community that this is not acceptable. You know, it's been a really crazy couple of years for everyone, but there are limits. And we want to show the community that we will stand up and we will fight so that our community doesn't become one where these type of acts become the norm. It's completely unacceptable and outrageous, and we wanted to give Eric a megaphone so that prayerfully this doesn't happen to someone else again.
What does the lawsuit do? I want to explain to me how that helps this case for you guys.
We filed a lawsuit for intentional infliction of emotional distress, seeking monetary reward for Eric, but also to bring light to this situation. You know, a lot of people are struggling but would not ever dream of going to such extents to hurt another person or an animal. We wanted to take a stand and tell our community that these types of behaviors are unacceptable, and that if people need help, there are great resources available in our community to get help so that these type of incidences can be prevented in the future.
And I wanted to say that I don't care about the money or any money. I'm hoping that bringing this to light will not only prevent things like this in the future, but I'm hoping that the people seeing this will initiate enough outcry so that the police do go in and get her and arrest her and make her pay the right way for what she's done.
I have to admit, I'm a little surprised that a woman allegedly throws a dog over 7 stories.
You can,
and the police.
I have the police report.
Yeah,
Isn't
there's.
that something odd to you at all?
I trust that the police are doing the right thing and everything they can do to apprehend the individual that's responsible for this. I believe in our police department, and I know that they will ultimately arrest her. We need to be patient.
What night did this happen?
Yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning. Okay.
So it's not that long.
So what time of day was this?
11 a.m.
11 a.m. Okay. And you have been dating this woman for how long?
Off and on since June.
So just a few months?
About 8 months, 7, 8 months.
Has she shown any sort of tendencies of aggression prior to this?
Yes. She's hit me several times
Okay.
and things. And I did call the police on her once before in Atlanta when we were up there on vacation.
Okay.
By the time they got there, it was like 4 hours later, she had passed out and wasn't a threat anymore. And so I didn't, which I'm kicking myself for, so I didn't press charges. I said she's okay now.
Yeah.
And they said, do you want us to arrest her? And I mean, we're from here. I said, you know, why would I, we were up there to see a football game. I said, why would I, you know, it was supposed to be a fun weekend. Why would I, you know, have this girl who I do care about? I mean, I wanted to help her. When she's sober, she's a very sweet, loving person.
How did she act around the dog prior to this? Your dog, I should say.
She does not particularly like my dogs, but that's, my Bucky is a pug. He's 3 years old. He jumps around a lot. And when you're always intoxicated, you know, having something jump on you is not exactly the most fun thing in the world, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you know, but I mean, in a million years, I could have never anticipated that she would do such a thing. She was a dog owner at one point. Her dog passed away, I guess, a couple years ago. So
Eric
I'm shocked.
Eric's filed for a temporary restraining order, which was granted already by the judge earlier today, so that this individual is not allowed to have contact with him in any way, in person or in any method of communication.
Were there any witnesses on the ground? Anyone?
There were several people on the ground, but nobody that saw her do it dropped. They saw Bucky land. Nobody saw her actually drop him other than me. I mean, because nobody would be looking up 7 floors onto a balcony. I mean, that's kind of normal.
How did people react when you got down there and your dog?
Oh, the entire building is horrified. They want her kicked out. They've been making, you know, there was a dog killer sign on her door, not from me, but from somebody in the building. I mean, there are a lot of dog lovers in that building, and it's tragic. People loved Bucky in that building. I mean, there's 280 units in that building, and I know most of them. I've been there for about 12 years, and I know a lot of people there, and everybody's just heartbroken. They're trying to plan a memorial service for him out on the beach once he's done getting cremated.
You said you live on Clearwater Beach?
Yes. 880 Mandalay Bay, Regatta Beach Club.
Got it, okay.
That's where she threw him off of.
Oh, wow. Am I missing anything?
I don't think so. I think we're very sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I would just say anybody who sees this to just hug their dogs tonight or their pets. Because that's the best thing they could do. This just should never happen to anything, any living thing.